Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Exploring Marketing Research, Chapter number 9, Part 1. Survey Research, Basic Communication Methods. What you will learn in this chapter, in this Part 1. Number 1, to understand when personal interviews, telephone interviews, or self-administered surveys should be conducted, to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of personal interviews, to explain when door-to-door personal interviews should be used instead of mail intercept interview, to discuss advantages and disadvantages of telephone surveys, to discuss random digit dialing and other methods for selecting telephone numbers for surveys. Media used to communicate with respondents. During most of the 20th century, survey data were obtained when individuals responded to questions asked by human interviews or to questions they read questionnaires. Interviewers communicated with respondents face to face or over the telephone, or respondent filled out self-administered paper questionnaire, which were typically distributed by mail. These media for conducting surveys remain popular with marketing researchers. Media used to communicate with respondents. Human interactive media and electronic interactive media are available nowadays to conduct the survey. When two people engage in conversation, human interaction takes place. Human interactive media are a personal form of communication. One human being directs a message to and interacts with another individual or a small group. Electronic interactive media allow marketers to reach a large audience, to personalize individual message, and to interact using the digital technology. Non-interactive media. The traditional questionnaire received by mail and completed by respondent does not allow a dialogue or an exchange of information, providing immediate feedback. Self-administered questionnaires printed on paper are non-interactive. Each technique for conducting survey has its merits and shortcomings. So this chapter explains when different types of surveys should be used. Using interviews to communicate with respondents. Interviews can be categorized based on the medium the researcher uses in communicating with individuals and recording data. For example, the interview may be conducted door to door in a shopping mall or on telephone. Traditionally, interview results have been recorded using paper and pencil, but computers are increasingly supporting survey research. So in short, we can say that respondents can be contacted through personal interviews, through door-to-door, through shopping mall intercepts. We can contact respondents with the help of telephone. We can conduct interviews on telephones, and we can use the self-administered questionnaires to conduct the survey. Personal interviews. Personal interview means face-to-face communication in which an interviewer asks a respondent to answer questions. The history of marketing research is sketchy. The gathering of information through face-to-face contact with individual has a long history. Marketing researchers find that personal interviews offer many unique advantages. One of the most important is the opportunity for feedback. When we look at the advantages of personal interviews, we can see that there is an opportunity for feedback. An interviewer can probe complex answers. An interviewer can look into the length of the interview, and interviewer can manage the length of the interview. Completeness of questionnaire can be conducted. Props and visual aids are available with the personal interviews, and there can be high participation in the personal interview. Disadvantages of personal interviews. Besides the advantages, there are some disadvantages with the personal interviews. The most important disadvantage that personal interview has, the interviewer influence. The interviewer can influence the interviewee to, and there can be lack of anonymity of respondent, and the cost. Definitely, personal interviews are expensive, generally substantially more costly than mail, internet, or telephone surveys. So these are some disadvantages. Door-to-door personal interview. The presence of an interview at the door generally increases the likelihood that a person will be willing to complete an interview. So we can have a speed of data collection with the door-to-door personal interview. There can be the speed can be moderate to fast. Geographical flexibility is limited to moderate in door-to-door personal interviews, and respondent cooperation can be excellent in door-to-door personal interview. And was versatility of questioning quite versatile. We can say that there can be the flexibility of questioning, and we can have enough flexibility in questioning in door-to-door personal interview. Door-to-door personal interview. Questionnaire length. The researcher can have a long questionnaire in door-to-door interview. Item non-response must be low in this door-to-door personal interview, and the possibility of respondent misunderstanding is lowest in door-to-door personal interview. Door-to-door personal interview. Degree of interviewer influence of answer obviously is the degree of interviewer is higher in the personal interview. Same is the case with door-to-door personal interview. Supervision of interviewers is moderate in door-to-door personal interview, and anonymity of respondent is very low in door-to-door personal interview. Door-to-door personal interview. Ease of callback or follow-up is difficult in door-to-door interview, and the cost of this door-to-door personal interview is the highest. And there are some special features that visual materials may be shown or demonstrated, extended probing possible in door-to-door personal interview. Mall intercept personal interview. Personal interviews conducted in shopping malls are referred to as mall intercept interviews or shopping center sampling. Interviews typically intercept shoppers at a central point within the mall or in an entrance. The main reason mall intercept interviews are conducted is because their costs are lower than door-to-door interviews. So we can have speed of data collection. We can have a fast speed of data collection, and geographical flexibility is confined, and the researcher has to remain only in urban area because these big shopping malls are available in the urban areas only, and there can be urban bias. Respondent cooperation can be moderate to low, and versatility of the questioning is, it means we can have extreme flexibility in the questioning with a small intercept personal interview. Small intercept personal interview. Degree of interviewer influence of answer is the highest, while supervision of interview, we can see that that can be moderate to high, and anonymity of respondent is low in this small intercept personal interview. Mall intercept personal interview. Ease of callback or follow-up is very difficult in mall intercept personal interview, and the cost can be moderate to high in mall intercept personal interview. And special features that we can use in this mall intercept personal interview is that taste test, viewing of TV commercials are possible in this mall intercept personal interview. Telephone surveys. For several decades, telephone interviews have been the mainstay of commercial survey research. The quality of data obtained by telephone may be may be comparable to the quality of data collected in personal interviews. So telephone surveys can have speed of data collection, must be very fast, and with the telephone surveys, researcher can have geographical flexibility towards high, and the respondent cooperation is good in telephone surveys. Flexibility of questioning can be moderate in telephone surveys. Telephone surveys. Questionnaire length. A researcher can use a moderate questionnaire length, and the item non-response must be should be low in it, and the possibility of respondent misunderstanding is average in telephone survey. The degree of interview influence of answer is moderate in telephone survey. Telephone surveys. We are talking about the characteristics of telephone surveys, and we have discussed several characteristics of the telephone surveys. And supervision of interviewers is high, especially with central location, what's interviewing. Anonymity of respondent is moderate. Ease of callback or follow-up is easy. So these are some advantages that a researcher can have with telephone surveys. The cost can move from low to moderate, and the special features, fieldwork, and supervision of data collection are simplified, quite adaptable to computer technology nowadays. Telephone surveys. In the telephone surveys, the researcher can have a central location interviewing, and nowadays with the help of technology, computer assisted telephone interviewing is possible. Same is the case with computerized voice activated interviews. In computerized voice activated interviews, no interviewer is involved, recording is available, and computer initiates the interview and conduct the interview with the recorded messages. Thank you. That's all for part 1.